Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. My name is Dabney Lawless, and today we're going to be looking at beginner essential dignities. So I have another video coming up, I'm going to release in a couple days, with Sam Reynolds, where he does a pretty amazing job at explaining an essential dignities chart for astrology. And he does it in such a way, though, that he's talking about really big concepts like triplicity and, the score that things get. So I just wanted to make sure that since a lot of the people watching this channel are beginners, that you had the basics and the foundations of essential dignities. So if this is content you're interested in, I do hope you stick around. Please like, subscribe, share. It helps me so much keep motivated to get this content for everyone for free. And it also just helps with the algorithm. So if this is something that you want to learn, please stick around. So as I previously mentioned, what we're looking at today is an essential dignities cheat sheet, more or less. So you can understand the concepts of the ruler, detriment, exaltation, and fall. So this is something that you can find all over the internet. So if you Google, I would say planets ruler, planet detriment, and fall, you can get lots of these charts, but also you can take a screenshot right here. And I will be putting this particular page in my workbook for beginners. So if you have not yet signed up and gotten a free beginner workbook, please go over to lawlessastrology.com and you can just sign up for that and I will send it over to you. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. When we have a planet, there is what's called the ruler. This is something that you probably are familiar with, ruler or domicile. So the sun is, the Leo is ruled by the sun. Okay, so the sign. So when I say ruler, that's the zodiac sign and the planet that rules that particular sign. So let's think about the sun. Okay, so we're just going to use the sun as an example. The sun, all the planets revolve around the sun. The sun doesn't revolve around the planets, right? And so Leo is a sign that it has that same sort of gravitas. It doesn't want to revolve around other people. It is a natural leader. So when you have a ruler of a planet, what you're saying is they get each other. There's a lot in common there. So the sun is bright and shiny and provides warmth and has this kind of, there's something quite generous about the sun. When you walk outside and you feel those rays, like it is very, it's very exciting. It's very just like you want to be around the sun, right? You feel kind of enlivened and lifted. It's like that with Leo too. There is a generosity with Leo, and Leo is bright and shiny and it offers creation. It's creative, right? And so the sun offers creation. Without the sun, plants are not growing. So that's how I think of a rulership or domicile. Is really that the sun or the planet and the ruler really do get one another. So you think about the moon, right? The moon is much more, it's at the dark of the night, and it has kind of, it changes phases, right? So it becomes the full moon, and sometimes you can't see the moon at all. So there is something very changeable about the moon, and it's very different than the sun. The sun is external. You're outside, you're doing things. The moon, it's a time for rest. It's a time to go within, to recuperate, to sleep. Cancer, very much like that. It's nurturing. It offers respite. It offers, care, and it's internal. It's emotional. It's changeable, right? So they just have things in common. So again, one last example, Mercury. Mercury is the planet is all about words and thoughts and communication, and it's very buzzy. And Gemini, similarly, Gemini loves books, and Gemini loves movies and is very witty. And there's that same sort of like kind of frenetic energy that you also get with Mercury. So those two get one another. Okay, so now let's pop over to detriment. And you can kind of do that for each of these. So detriment. Detriment is the sign that opposes the ruler. So if the ruler of the sun is Leo, the opposite sign to Leo is Aquarius. So what I find with detriment is detriment gets the planet, but they just aren't very comfortable with it. So the example I would get is like a sweater that's either too big or too small. It's like you want to put on the sweater, you like the sweater, there's something about it that's attractive to you, but it just isn't right. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't fit. And so as a result, if you have a planet in detriment, it just something's off. It just doesn't really sync up. It doesn't get it. And so let's sort of use the planet of Venus as an example. So Venus is in its detriment in Scorpio. Well, why would that be? Well, Scorpios totally get relationships. They're interested in that. But Scorpios want deep relationships. It's really important for them to kind of go beneath the superficial layers and get to the bottom of what's really happening. So the Scorpios understand Venus is very relationship oriented, and Scorpios are relationship oriented, but maybe not in the way that Venus is most comfortable with that. So in order to have a lot of relationships to be quite popular and likable, you have to get along with a lot of different people, which means being able to kind of find balance with opposites and really be that diplomat, right? And so that's where Taurus and Libra come in. Libra, the scales. So Libra can be very diplomatic. Taurus likes to, take a step back and just avoid the drama, right? And so people who do those kind of things tend to have more relationships. They understand that relationships are a little bit more of a give and take. But Scorpio, on the other hand, is like, we need to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. So that's where Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio, is in its detriment. So it's sort of saying like, I really don't care if this is dramatic, like we need relationship at a whole different level. So that's just an example. We've talked, Jupiter is currently in Gemini in its detriment, and why this is, kind of a uncomfortable situation is Gemini likes lots of information. Gemini likes to move around to lots of different things. Gemini likes to look at things, the data, the microscope, kind of like, let's get down in the weeds and figure this out. And it can process a lot of different things at once. But Jupiter's really very much more big picture. And Jupiter is kind of like, I like the big picture. I want to see what's going on everywhere. And Jupiter is like, no, we've got to go there. And then we got to go there. So there's kind of this like frenetic energy. They both like information, and they see it in a different way. Okay, so I hope that helps with the sweater analogy. Exaltation. So when a planet and a sign, when a planet's in its exaltation or it's exalted, basically it means it feels special there. So it may not have as much in common, like the sun and Leo have a lot in common, but Aries loves to feel important. Aries loves when people revolve around them, right? Aries wants to be the first ones out there. They have this kind of bold warrior energy. And so it's really a place of honor for them to be exalted. So it's kind of a place where they just feel really like, this is awesome. I could get into this. It really understands the planet and it just feels special there. Fall means it is the planet the sign that is opposite of the exaltation. So again, here, let me just pull out an example. Jupiter in Capricorn. Okay, so Jupiter in Capricorn is in its fall. Fall means it's a little different than liking the sweater, but it's either too big or too small. So you don't quite know what to do with it because you don't really it's just not the right fit. Fall, on the other hand, is more like an itchy sweater. It's just uncomfortable. It's like something's off and you can't always put your finger on it. You may not always understand why it's off, but it's just uncomfortable. So Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter is expansion. Jupiter is making things big. It is, like I said, big picture. Capricorn, on the other hand, is ambitious. And Capricorn wants to kind of keep the structures of things and the hierarchy. And it's not really involved with justice or, thinking about fairness. So Jupiter and Capricorn are sort of an uncomfortable mix. Capricorn is the dead of the winter. And so that energy does not really lend itself well with the bounty and the harvest and like feeling like there's a tremendous amount of generosity of spirit. But Capricorn also knows how to save, and Capricorn is really good at, following the rules and saying like, hey, we need to be careful not to, spend all of our money on this cruise when the truth of the matter is we have medical bills coming up. So, that's it's more practical, it's grounded, it's earthy. So it just feels very uncomfortable in Jupiter, which pushes it to be outside of its limits. So that hopefully gives you just kind of an illustration. This is a quick video, but I wanted to, help you understand before you watch Sam's video, just these basic concepts of ruler, detriment, exaltation, and fall, because then I think it'll be a lot richer for you. And again, you can take a screenshot of this, or you can sign up for my beginner astrology book. It's a little download that I'll send you that has all sorts of information, and I'm going to add this to this now. If you have any questions, please leave them below, but hopefully this is a good little intro to ruler, detriment, exalted, and fall when it comes to essential dignities. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please tune in for part 2, which is going to be a little bit more intermediate with Sam Reynolds, and that'll be coming out in a couple of days. So as always, stargazers, there's a reason and a season for it all, and the universe is conspiring to help us. So until next time, have a good one.